So I have played around with Notebook LM a little bit more,
Hmm.
as I think it's an interesting tool, and I thought about last week creating dumping basically lecture content into it and creating a podcast for my students. That
Oh
would be a
yeah,
little easier for them than reading my lecture content in
right.
my online class. I ultimately ended up recording my own little mini video podcast for it because that worked out better. But in the process, I've been trying to play around with ChatGPT a lot more lately to figure out how it can be used to speed up the workflow of a professor who always wants to get time back. And one of the problems that we know with ChatGPT is it hallucinates.
Yeah.
And it especially likes to hallucinate journal articles, which is kind of
Really?
funny. Yeah, it will make up citations. It will tell you that articles are published that don't exist. This is where I say if you're an expert in a field, you can use ChatGPT effectively because you'll be able to notice, hey, wait a minute, that's not a real reference. And I shouldn't trust it versus my students who just believe everything ChatGPT tells them. Uh, but I was trying to figure out why is it doing this. So I kept asking it, for this reference, where did you get this? Give
Right.
me the link, print
Right.
out the link. And
Yeah.
what I found it's doing, and I blame, like many things in the world, I blame journal publishing companies for this. Do you remember back in the days when you tried to go to a web page and it gave you a 404 error and it literally just said error 404 file not found?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, we need to go back to that because what it's doing is it's pulling up, these pages that don't exist on a journal
Right.
website.
Right.
And you go to them and you go, well, how is it pulling up this thing that doesn't exist? Well, it's because those journal websites, instead of giving you a 404 file doesn't exist when you pass it arguments for a journal DOI that doesn't exist, they just give you a message saying something along the lines of, well, we couldn't find that article, but here are 50 other articles you might find interesting.
Interesting
And
indeed.
it pulls, I'm sure, names and titles and other things from that dynamically generated list
Wow.
so that if you go back to the page it crawled 6 months or 6 seconds or whatever, it'll give you a different list of related articles. So when I was trying to figure out how's it coming up with these what look like accurate citations, but they don't exist, but they have real
Wow.
journal articles and they have real people's names and real titles. And it's probably because it's pulling it from a 404 page. And instead of realizing, oh, there's nothing there, it thinks that these 50 articles exist on that page. And it's just swapping around title, author, DOI, journal article, name, page numbers. So hopefully ChatGPT will figure that out. OpenAI and Microsoft and the others will figure out how to deal with a dynamic 404 page because a lot of sites do this. It's not just the journal articles. But the next time you're a web person and you decide, gee, should I make my 404 page kind of dynamic and engaging? No,
Interesting.
just make it say 404 file not found and you won't break the friggin' internet.
Yeah. Wow. That is interesting. It's the web has become smart, but AI is still dumb.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost like the old technical guys who just said, you know what, an error page that says 404 is fine enough. It's almost like they knew what they were doing. And the young blood marketing guys that said, but if we put content on there, we can get views and we can get this and that.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
Link
destroying,
link bait. 404 is a
yeah,
link bait.
link baiting. Yeah. Yeah. Turning 404 into link bait.